What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Sidney will return in Scream 6. So, this is obviously, I think, going to be pretty important to, in my opinion, the marketing and the excitement that goes into Scream 6. We've talked about over the past couple days. I've even done some live streams of how do you get people very excited for the next movie. How do you do the next movie in, similar ways where it, I guess, sticks to what makes Scream good, but also tries to experiment a little, because I think you're going to need to do that to keep people on board. And Sidney, obviously, is a big part of really all of that, right? I will say this, as time has moved on, as the days have moved on since seeing the movie, I feel very good about eventually, and maybe even right away, depends on the time of day or the day you're talking to me about it, leaving the franchise mainly to Tara. I've talked a lot about Sam, that I think she could easily be used in a way to actually, I guess, give the baton down again to Tara. I think that'd be really cool. I think that'd be pretty interesting, and there's several ways of doing it. And I do believe the emotional range and the acting range we got out of Tara and Jenna Ortega in Scream 2022 was really, really good. Enough for me to be like, yeah, you know what? If she was the final girl going forward, I really wouldn't mind it. If it was Sam, it would be a little bit different of an answer from me. But I still and obviously this video is talking about Sidney, right? I fully believe Sidney could still have a place. I really, really do. I liked her usage in this movie. I think, obviously, she wasn't in it a lot. In fact, if you go back to think about, the scenes, there really aren't too many scenes. Obviously, she's a big part of the actual ending, and her and Gail are a big part of disposing of Amber, right? But in general, I wouldn't say if you took them out, the movie would have worked, because it really wouldn't have. They really did, base it off of that. But if you didn't have Sidney for the next one, would it be the biggest deal of all time? I think it would definitely be a big deal, but I don't think it'd be the exaggerated version of that. It wouldn't be the biggest deal of all time. To me, it really depends on where the next movie is centered on. Also depends on, I guess, where Gail and Sidney go after this, right? Obviously, Sidney does not live, she doesn't reside in Woodsboro. And while I've said that I think the next movie could very well happen outside of Woodsboro, I think that makes a lot of sense. Remember, the directors actually talked about, before the movie came out, how there's still more stories to tell in Woodsboro. So that actually kind of contradicts it. I think it makes a lot of sense to leave, much like other movies have done. But I guess, if you wanted to stay, I think you could still make it pretty special. If you stay, I think that increases the odds of Sidney. Also, because of her daughters, right? We know that she has two. And because of Mark, her husband, right? I think there always is a possibility of her coming back. I think, number one, she's now tied to Sam and Tara, I guess, loosely. They're not best friends. They're not going to call each other every weekend, right? But I could imagine in this fictional world, they would still keep up with each other, and Sidney could really be somebody that Sam could talk to over the phone or on text or whatever, or in person, to kind of go through things, because they are much alike. And obviously Sam being connected to Billy and that connection to Sidney, you'll always have that. So I think there's, but I guess what I'm trying to say is there's movie reasonings why Sidney could come back. Because what I guess I don't want to happen is to have it feel very, very forced. I actually felt this one felt pretty organic in terms of how and why she came back. I think all of us thought that phone call from Dewey to Sidney was going to be the thing to get her back. But in reality, it was actually Dewey's death, something that I predicted in a video, and not saying I'm the only one, and I predicted many other things. A lot I got wrong and some I got right. But I made a video about a year ago. Oh, actually, probably while they were filming, and talked about, will Dewey's death be the reason Sidney comes back? And yeah, that actually is the reason. She was not going to return, obviously, unless there was something really big that happened. So in order to get her back again, I think you either have to, in order to get her back again, you'd have to have Gail be in danger. Okay, I think that would be one way. Or she'd have to be threatened. I guess the threats would have to go against her family from Ghostface, who lives in Woodsboro. I think that would be enough. If she got a call and Ghostface said, hey, I know who you are. I know who your children are. I know who your husband is. I will come for you and I'll take them out unless you come stop me or whatever, or you help Samantha, or, however they want to word it. And I think that'd be enough to get Sidney back. So I think movie reasoning, they've done enough already. Where, yes, if you wanted to shut the door on her forever, you could. I don't think that'd be a good idea, but you could. And then if you wanted to bring her back, you also could do that. I would say from a non like movie character perspective, right? From like a marketing perspective or trying to get, people in the seats, to see the movie. Look, there's no doubt about it. Like, Neve, what she means to Scream and what Sidney means to Scream is a lot. You know what I mean? I really don't know. And eventually we're going to have to go through this at some point in our lives, especially if Scream lives on beyond some of these actors and actresses, right? We're going to have to watch a Scream movie without Sidney Prescott in the entire thing. And it's going to feel weird. And it may actually work or it may fail. It may actually not work. And I'm not somebody who's going to be all positive and say, I'm going to give them 100% the benefit of the doubt. There's no way it'll fail. I think that's kind of dumb. I guess it would be the same aspect of being dumb if you said, it's guaranteed. There's no way it could work. I do think it could work, right? But I would say it's definitely a risk. And a risk that I don't know if they necessarily want to go through right now. I just don't really, in my opinion, see the need where, as I said, I really think from behind the scenes, you're going to need big stuff to get people excited for Scream 6. You just are. The mixed reception to 5, while it made a lot of money or it's going to continue to make a lot of money, right? And I as I've said, like, I like the movie. In fact, I love the movie. But there are issues, and people have issues with this movie. And you have to think, like, that carries over. You're not going to have the same excitement going into the next one. And as I've said, like, in live streams and other things, my main argument from like, if you're trying to pitch Neve the idea and you're like the filmmakers and you're like, look, we really need you back, what they could be thinking in their head is you don't have the benefit of 10 years between these movies. So it's not like, this is the first movie in blank years. You know what I mean? So it's not like a special event because it would come out in like 2 or 3 years. Okay? So you don't have that. You also continue to have new characters lead it. Now, again, to some, that doesn't even matter, but to others, that does matter, right? Not having these leads that we've seen in Scream before as the lead, that matters. And then you say, okay, well, now they're not even going to be back. Like, Courtney Cox and Neve Campbell aren't coming back. That is kind of scary from, like, a marketing perspective, because what are you supposed to market, the movie on? And you can't copy, you can't bring it back to the original again, you know what I mean? So you don't have that. I guess there's also not that marketing ploy of going back to Stu's house and this being kind of like a return to form or trying to do Scream 1 again. You can't do that again. So to lose Neve as well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be based purely off of financial reasons or, like, for that, but I'm not going to play stupid and say, like, those aren't reasons why some things happen in movies. Do you know what I mean? I think that it makes sense in a movie perspective to have her come back, and it would have to be mainly the same thing as this. Like, I have nothing wrong with her just repeating this however many times they obviously have to do it a little bit differently, but I don't have too many problems with them doing what they did here. Again, I mean, she's not the center focus. She never will be, like, going forward. Obviously, she has in the past. And, for her to pop up here and there, and then for her to be, like, a main part of the ending, if maybe you kill Gail. I don't think you ever kill Sidney. I just feel like that feels wrong, especially now because she has kids and a husband. I know I saw some people say, like, well, they could make, like, her daughters, they can make, like, her kids survivors, and that could lead to her trying to protect the kids. Like, I get it. I understand that, and that's not a bad idea. But the thing that I think a lot of people are overlooking is these movies are accurate as close as they can be to the years that we're actually in. So, like, her kids are supposed to be, like, 1, 2, 3, 4 years old, like, somewhere in that very early age in this movie. Unless they do a 15-year time jump, which literally would be 15 years from now. Okay, it should be more like a Laurie Strode age, right? Like a Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, unless they do that in 15 years, but that's not what we're talking. You know what I mean? In the next couple years, they can't age the kids. And if they, I guess they could. I guess they technically could jump in the future, but it'd be the first time they've ever done that. And I don't really think that's what Scream does, and I don't think they would really do that. So I kind of think that idea won't exactly work. But I think she could be in the next movie. I think it would honestly work. I want her in it. I would still say that, even though I am happy. I'm happy with, like, if they lead it, and even if it's a duo thing, Sam and Tara, or eventually Sam gives it to Tara or whatever, I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it kind of works. I'm not the biggest fan of Sam or Melissa Barrera as an actress, but, I think she's serviceable, and I think Jenna Ortega is really, really good, and I think the movie franchise is in really good hands if she's the lead going forward. So again, do you absolutely need Sidney? You definitely don't need her as a lead. I think I've understood that. I've moved past that, right? But to not have her be in the movie at all, I don't know. The door is definitely still open for her. We saw that at the end of 5. You know, it's not like she'll never do it again, I think. And also, I made a video of, this is the last thing I want to say, and I don't want to forget it. I made a video a few days before the movie came out where Neve did an interview where she literally said, number one, she fully believes there'll be more Scream movies. Now, to me, I think that's because they told her. Probably because she'll be in them. I don't really know why you would tell somebody that if they're not going to be in it. Maybe you could say she's earned the respect. Obviously, she has, right? Because she's been in them, that she should know how the franchise is going forward. But I don't know. Why would you say that if she's not going to be in it? And then when they asked if she was going to be in it or if the OG3 were going to be in it, she said they can't say because that would give away if they live or died at the end of this movie. So I just feel like based off those answers, sure, there's back and forth you can go. And again, I talk about a lot more in that specific video. I'll leave it at the end of this one. But I believe just the way she was talking, very confident, very, I don't know, she could have said like, nah, I'm thinking this is probably my last one. Or, she could have said that, but she didn't. So I personally feel that behind the scenes, she probably has, been talked to about it if she'd want to do it. I feel like she will. I definitely feel like if they want her back and they ask her, she will. It's just if they want her. So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. All of my social media is in the description below if you guys want to check it out. My Twitter, my second channel, our Patreon, and YouTube memberships. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.